Hi, this next video is on one-step multiplication and division equations, implying that we either going to be multiplying or dividing as the main operations. But again, as always, I'm going to be showing more than one way to do a number of these problems. The first thing, just designate. I'm going to be using blue for good / positive numbers, and red for evil / negative numbers. So let's dive right into it. Let's say you have a problem. So example number 1, we're going to have 4 times a number, 4 times n, is equal to -24. So what I really enjoy about multiplying and dividing problems is because I think they're really easy. You could, like, take a moment and really think about it. 4 times some number is a negative number. So we have a positive times some number is negative. So right off the bat, you could actually eliminate half the answers because n has to be negative. Because 4 times a positive times a positive is a positive. So 4 times a negative, well, that would give us a negative. So it's really neat that we can actually discard some solutions on a multiple choice test. So the first thing, go ahead and just go and mark this down. I have 4 n's. That's what 4n means. I have n plus n plus n plus n. So 4 n's. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I have 24 evil triples. So there you go. Now the way I think about this type of problem is this. If you move this on up, let's draw a little dotted line right here. We're going to organize these things. Every box should have the same number of evil triples. Every box is equal, like when you buy a pack of coloring pencils from this company, you know, well, by the way, this is of course the backwards 1 and 2. This is 12, so just do that. There's 12 in this. It's the same colors. It's the same 12 every time. So if these boxes all are n boxes, they should have the same number of evil triples in every single one of them. So I'm just going to reorganize them. So I'm going to draw my 4 boxes exactly the same. N, 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 and N. I'm going to take my evil color, and I'm going to just go through, and I know we have 24, right? So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. By the way, we're at 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So if we look at it, every single box, let's take this whole thing, every single box should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 evil triples in it. So I'm going to draw another little dotted line / force field, just so I can draw it a little neater and say in one box, we know we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we know n equals -6. And that's it. That's all there is to it. So that's one way. That's with the triples. So go ahead and take a moment to copy that down and finish up your notes. Okay, now let's talk about inverse operations. 4n is equal to -24. Well, if there's no operation, this stands for 4 times n is equal to -24. So we're going to just go and we're going to start with a balance line on this one. Okay, we're going to rewrite. So we're going to have 4n is equal to -24. And when I say opposite operation, right, what I mean is, well, if you have 4 times something, the opposite of timesing by 4, the opposite operation of adding is subtracting, the opposite one of multiplying is dividing. So we're going to divide both sides, not just one side, divide both sides by 4. So I'm going to write divide by 4. So now we have n, because 4 divided by 4 is 1, right? And I'm going to go and put that right there. Because then we get 1 times 4n. Negative divided by a positive is a negative. Remember our triangle, negative divided by a positive is a negative. And 24 divided by 4 is 6. And this is equal. And then I'm going to simplify. Because I'm not going to, like, 1 times a million is a million. 1 times n is n. So n is actually equal to -6. once we simplify, and then we're done. Okay, so there we go. Our check, 4 times n is equal to negative 24. Let's go and put a little bit of balance sign right here. 4 times negative 6, because n is equal to negative 6, right? Is equal to negative 24. Positive times a negative is a negative, and 4 times 6 is, yep, 24. So we have negative 24 is equal to negative 24, so we're good. My check and a smiley face. All right. So that's all there is for that's all there really is for these types of problems. So that's example number 1. So example number 2. We're going to be doing this one 2 different ways as well. Now, triples are really great, and here's the breakdown. There is one more method, but that's going to be something we're going to do in class for an activity tomorrow. So be ready for that, because I'm really excited about it. Because I think it's a really great activity, and heck, I'm the one that made it up. So there you go. So deal with it. Y divided by negative 3 is equal to negative 12. So some number divided by negative 3 is equal to negative 12. So to break down. Now think about what I was saying on the other side. I mentioned a lot of like, notice that if like for this one, I said 4 times some number is equal to negative 24. So 4 times a positive is positive. So we know it's not positive. 4 times a negative equals a negative. So kind of going with that same idea, what if I had, and I'm going to rewrite, well, I need to think of some number that I can divide by negative 3 that gives me negative 12. Think of some number. So I'm thinking of some number, and I'm thinking, well, I know I have to divide by negative 3. If I put a positive right here, or a negative divided by a negative is positive. Well, we know it's negative 12, so we can't put that there. So we know it's got to be positive, for 1, right? And, well, 12 divided by, well, something divided by 3 equals 12, well, that's got to be 36. Positive 36. So we know it's positive, and it's got to be 36, because 36 divided by 3 is 12. Hey, look, we have negative 3 on both sides, so we can cancel these out. Now we have y equals positive 36. Okay? So that's the breakdown. That's kind of like working backwards. So now we're going to go for the inverse operations. Okay? Draw my bounce line, as always, line up that equal sign. I'm going to rewrite. Okay? I'm going to, well, now think about it. The opposite of multiplying, sorry, the opposite of multiplying is dividing, right? We just did it on the other one, so something else to think about is the opposite of dividing is multiplying. Sometimes both sides by negative 3. I keep the sign with it. I don't lose that. I have to multiply by the whole thing, negative 3. I'm going to put that in parentheses to make that look a little neater. So we keep the negative with the 3. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1. So we have 1 times y. So again, we're multiplying. I, not a y. Multiply by negative 3. Okay? And then over here we have negative times negative is a positive. We're not going to put a plus sign anymore. 12 times 3 is, hey, 36. And my last step, we're going to simplify. 1 times y, it's just y, equals 36. Which is, hey, what we have on the other side, right? So now we're going to do our check. Every single time we're always going to do our check. We're going to take y divided by negative 3 equals negative 12. We're going to plug in. Does 36 divided by negative 3 equal negative 12? Positive divided by negative is a negative. And if you even want to do this, you can. 3 goes into 3 one time. Bring down a 6. 3 goes into 6 twice. And hey, look, there we go. So this is equal to negative 12. Negative 12. Does negative 12 equal negative 12? Absolutely. And we're done. So, definitely y equals 36 is our answer. So we're good. We have one more example left, and that's it for today. So breakdown again, because for me, I really enjoy breakdown. Negative 15 times x is equal to 60. So here's another thing about a negative times some number equals a positive. So I'm gonna just rewrite, just keep, because you always have to think about what your original answer is. So negative 15x equals 60. Okay. So I'm thinking some number times x. Okay, so here we go. Negative 15 times some number. So first off, 60 is positive, and negative times a negative. So we know this has to be negative, right? And then 15. So some of you might be really good at this, some of you might not be. 15, 30, 45, and hey, 60. We times 15 by 4, right? We get 60, so negative 15 times negative 4 equals positive 60. Now let's look what we have on both sides. We have negative 15 on both sides. So cancel these out, and x equals negative 4. By the way, we're going to do our check to make sure that's right, but let's also do it the second way. Inverse operations. I'm going to, of course, balance line. First thing is always balance line. I'm going to rewrite. Okay. Now, negative 15 times x, the opposite operation of multiplying is dividing. So we're going to divide both sides. Remember, whatever you do on one side, you have to do on the other. By 15. No, that's not what's in front of x. It's not 15. It's negative 15. You got to keep the negative right there. Don't lose it. So we're dividing by negative 15. 15 divided by 15 is 1. 1 times x equals a positive divided by a negative is a negative. If you want to get really tricky with this, here's an idea. 60 over 15, kind of hard to do if you don't know your fractions that well. Here's an idea. I can divide top and bottom, because I'm going to simplify the fraction. I can divide both of them by 5, right? Well, this is 3. 6 divided by 5, well, should be 12. And you should know what 12 divided by 3 is. So negative 4. Simplify. Right here, 1 times x, it's just x, right, is equal to negative 4. And that's, by the way, 1 times x is equal to x. That's called the multiplicative identity. And we're going to get definitely more into that as the year goes on. So multiplicative identity, that's a little bit of a preview of not chapter 3, that's algebraic properties, which you guys probably have done a little bit of. Hey, we're going to do our check. Negative 15 times x is equal to 60. Well, let's see if I take 15 times x, which we think is negative 4, according to our two answers up here, right? It's equal to 60. Negative times negative is a positive, so that's good. Got to have a positive answer. 15 times 4, if you need to do a little show your work, 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. Hey, look, there's 60 equals 60. Which is all good. So, two different ways. So the two ways I've given you is the inverse operations, which is the most commonly used that you'll be seeing a lot of. We have the breakdown, pulling things apart, and we have our triples, if you want to do it with the triple method. Tomorrow in class we're going to be doing some of this, and we're going to be doing something that's kind of related to the triples method. So, I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day.